Vietnam begins COVID-19 vaccinations after successful virus containment. Binh Duong permits foreigners entry for working. Đà Nẵng city plans to host annual Vietnam-RoK festival. Phong Nha-Ke Bang on list the world's 25 best national parks. Áo dài needs official heritage recognition. Hello, it's Trần again and welcome to FBNC News with latest updates from Vietnam. Vietnam launched its COVID-19 vaccination program on Monday, March the 8th, with healthcare workers first in the queue, even as the Southeast Asian country looked set to contain its fourth outbreak of the coronavirus since the pandemic began.
Vietnam has been lauded globally for its record fighting the virus, thanks to early border closures, targeted testing, and a strict centralized quarantine program. Vietnam has suffered fewer disruptions to its economy than much of Asia. It has capped the total number of infections in the country of 96 million, around 2,500, and reported just 35 deaths.
Đương nhiên là ngay trong những cái đợt đầu chống dịch thì khi chưa có vaccine, bọn mình cũng đã sẵn sàng để mà làm những cái công việc mà tiếp xúc với cả những bệnh nhân Covid rồi, thì bây giờ đã có vaccine nữa rồi thì cái việc đó nó càng yên tâm hơn, không vấn đề gì.
Today, my observation to the vaccination campaign organized in this hospital is very well prepared and very safe, and then sufficient information is provided and sufficient instruction is provided to the vaccinees.
The country's government said last month it would acquire 150 million jabs for its COVID-19 vaccination program, including both those directly purchased and doses obtained via the COVAX vaccine sharing scheme. Monday's shot were part of Vietnam's first batch of 117,600 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine that arrived late last month.
I'm sure with this system we can have continue roll out the safe and the effective vaccination campaign in Vietnam, starting from health workers and frontline workers in priority provinces.
The government plans free vaccinations with frontline workers, security forces, diplomats, teachers, and people of 65 or older among the first to be inoculated.
Chairman of the Binh Duong Provincial People's Committee Nguyễn Hoàng Thao on March 9th issued a document allowing foreign experts to enter the locality for working after the COVID-19 pandemic is kept under control. Accordingly, Binh Duong authorities will continue to receive immigration and medical quarantine documents from foreign personnel who wish to enter Binh Duong to work at enterprises operating in the locality. Thao asked the Immigration Department under the Ministry of Public Security, the Provincial Department of Labor and Valets and Social Affairs, the Provincial Industrial Parks Management Board, and the Provincial Department of Health support and create favorable conditions for foreign experts and their relatives to arrive in the locality in line with the regulation. According to the Provincial Department of Health, Binh Duong has basically controlled the pandemic. The locality went through 28 straight days with no new COVID-19 infections. The Ministry of Health has just allocated 1,200 doses of COVID-19 vaccine to the Province Center of Disease Control and 500 others to the Binh Duong General Hospital to vaccinate those working at the front line of the COVID-19 fight. Police in the Mekong Delta province of An Giang said on March the 10th they have detained a local man for his involvement in organizing illegal entry and exit. Nguyễn Văn Khánh, born in 1988 and residing in the province An Phú district, was defined to be involved in organizing illegal entry of 13 Chinese nationals in An Giang's Châu Đốc city. These Chinese citizens were arrested on March 7th while attempting to leave Vietnam for Cambodia on a 16th-seat car. The driver, Nguyễn Phương Hùng, born in 1986 and residing in Châu Đốc City's Vinh Mỹ ward, admitted he was hired to transport these people. The arrest took place when he was waiting for a person to hand over the Chinese citizens and take his money. The police have completed documents and transferred them to the Provincial People's Procuracy for approval of decisions to launch criminal proceedings against the case and related people. The central city of Da Nang is planning to host an annual Vietnam Republic of Korea festival to boost cultural exchanges, investment promotions, and development of tourism, trade, healthcare, and education. Chairman of the Municipal People's Committee, Lê Trung Chính, has said.
During a reception for Korean General Council in Da Nang, Min Sik, on March 9th, Chin said that the two countries share various cultural similarities and Da Nang has emerged as a favorite destination for Korean tourists. As the pandemic has been brought under control in Da Nang, local authorities are exerting efforts to address bottlenecks for businesses and speed up administrative procedure reforms so as to foster the city's economic recovery and development. Jin voiced his hope that the Korean side will further support the building of incubators, startup and innovation centers, as well as foster cooperation in high-tech agriculture and herbal cultivation and human resource development and labor exports. He also hoped the RoK will continue to promote Da Nang's image as a safe, clean and green and beautiful destination for Koreans once the pandemic is controlled. For his part, the Korean diplomat said over 90% out of about 8,000 Korean investors and firms in Vietnam are operating in the northern and southern regions. Therefore, the Korean government is eager to foster development and cooperation in Vietnam's central region and Da Nang City in particular. In the coming time, the Korean Consulate General will work with Da Nang City in the fields of investment promotion, IT training, smart city building, and tourism in the post-pandemic period. The RoK is considering holding a RoK Vietnam Business Conference in Da Nang this year, in the format of either in-person or online. said, expressing his hope that the central city will devise the content of the planned Vietnam-RoK festival to turn it into an annual cultural exchange event.
More than 24,000 Vietnamese students were enrolled at Australian educational facilities last year, making the country the fourth largest source of students in the country behind China, India, and Nepal. The figure was 2,000 less than 2019. According to figures from Australia's Department of Education, Skills and Employment, COVID-19 related border closures resulted in the number of foreign students in the country standing at 686,104 in 2020, an annual decline of 9%. The figure does not include those taking online courses offered by Australian educational establishments from outside of the country. Australia has largely brought the pandemic under control and begun a vaccination campaign. The Australian government, however, is yet to make a decision on opening its border to international students, as it is prioritizing the arrival of tens of thousands of Australians from overseas. TripAdvisor readers have chosen Phong Nha-Ke Bang in the central province of Quảng Bình as one of the world's 25 best national parks. The UNESCO-recognized global heritage site in central Vietnam ranked 15th and was the only national park in Southeast Asia to appear on the list compiled by TripAdvisor, which took into account the quality and number of traveler reviews and ratings published on its website over a 12-month period. The karst formation of Phong Nha-Ke Bang National Park has evolved since the Paleozoic, some 400 million years ago, and is the oldest major karst area in Asia. Established in 2000, Phong Nha-Ke Bang is frequently referred to as the Kingdom of Caves for the magnificent specimens it hosts. The 900 square meters national park, which UNESCO labeled as a global heritage site in 2003, is home to over 300 caves and grottos that date back 400 million years. Around 30 caves are now open to visitors, which have created a tourism boom and given much needed revenue to the once war-torn province. The Mekong Delta city of Cần Thơ has launched a project on green tourism at the Cai Rang Floating Market, one of the most visited destinations in the region. The city has asked the Cai Rang District's People's Committee to collect statistics on households living on the floating market and conduct research on their needs for clean waters, power, restroom, and the other essential needs to improve their living standards.
District authorities also need to develop sustainable tourism solutions, such as regular collection of trash on the river and improvement of public awareness about environmental protection, food hygiene and safety, and green tourism. In addition, the district should create jobs involved in tourist activities at the floating market. Cần Thơ has asked the city's Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism to work with the city's Bank for Social Policies to offer soft loans for households doing business at the floating market. The Department of Transport has been asked to ensure safety and order at harbors in Ninh Kiều and Cai Rang districts, while the police department will rearrange the mooring system for boats to ensure safety and order on waterways. The work will give local craft villages and farmers opportunities to introduce their products to tourists. The Cai Rang Floating Market began over 100 years ago as a place to sell agricultural products and local cuisine. Apart from selling fruits and vegetables from the city, it also offers special farm products from neighboring provinces. The region's food, specialties, and handicrafts products are also sold at the market. It is open every day from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. and attracts up to 500 boats visiting the kilometer-long market during holidays and festivals. The market was recognized as a National Intangible Cultural Heritage in 2016.
Áo dài Vietnamese traditional long dress has long been a traditional costume and a typical cultural feature of Vietnam. Through ups and downs with constant changes, áo dài still honors the gracefulness and elegance of Vietnamese women. However, the dress has yet to be named in the list of national heritage. Through the inscription is the premise for building a dossier to seek UNESCO recognition of áo dài as part of the world's intangible cultural heritage.
The idea is not new but has become urgent given recent cases when a foreign designer copied the Vietnamese traditional dress or misconception of its origin. Nguyễn Phương Nga, Vietnamese ambassador to the UN from 2014 to 2018, said the gown has become part of the national soul anywhere and it deserves to be honored as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity, as it represents traditional values of Vietnam as well as talents of local artisans. To contribute to promoting áo dài, the ambassador presented 2 áo dài which she wore in diplomatic events to the Vietnam Women's Museum. According to Associate Professor Dr. Bùi Hoàng Sơn, Director of the Vietnam Institute for Cultural and Arts Studies, once áo dài is recognized as national intangible cultural heritage towards global status, it will be better known and Vietnam's copyright on the dress will be affirmed. Although Vietnamese people both at home and abroad and the international community are aware of áo dài belonging to Vietnam, it remains oral recognition. Therefore, it is high time to build a dossier for the dress to be officially named as cultural heritage nationally and globally, thus contributing to protecting the country's cultural sovereignty.
The Vietnam National Opera and Ballet has released a song entitled Bình Minh SEA Games, Sunrise on SEA Games, in response to a campaign to compose the official theme song of the 31st Southeast Asian Games, or SEA Games 31st, scheduled to be hosted by Vietnam later this year. Composed by musician Đỗ Hoàng Phương, Deputy Director of Vietnam National Opera and Ballet, the song features the Pride of Vietnam as host of the largest regional sports event, as well as the consensus of the whole Asian region in the country. In the near future, Vietnam National Opera and Ballet will send the song to the SEA Games 31st Organizing Committee for considering whether it may become the official song of the Games. It also plans to use its symphony orchestra and choirs to sing this song live. SEA Games 31st is scheduled to be held from November 21st to December 2nd in Hanoi and 10 nearby localities, featuring 40 sports and more than 520 events. The opening and closing ceremonies will take place at the city's Mỹ Đình Stadium. Meanwhile, Asian Paragames 11 will take place in the capital city from December 7th to December 28th with 14 sports and about 400 competition events. And that has wrapped up our program for today. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.